It is a mystery that continues to baffle police 10 years later. Jason Allen and Lindsay Kutchell were shot to death in their sleep on a beach in Northern California.
The Zeeland man and his fiancée were on a weekend away from their jobs as Christian camp counselors when it happened. The killings have left a permanent mark on the small town where they were found murdered.
But as 24-hour News 8's Ken Coker reports, their deaths have strengthened the faith of the couple's families as they wait for answers.
The couple came to the secluded beach below me north of Jenner on the Pacific coast a decade ago to watch the sunset and spend the night.
It was just the kind of area that they would have loved to spend some time in. And Jason loved the beauty of God's creation, and that was a beautiful area.
Jenner is a town of about 100 people on Highway 1, north of San Francisco, on the edge of wine country. But the secluded beach is difficult to get to or even find.
This is an amazing spot in the universe.
It's at the end of a winding trail, then down the edge of a cliff. That raises questions about how Jason Allen and his fiancée Lindsay Kutchell ever found it, and whether the killer was a local, or perhaps one of the transients who spent nights there.
It's a beach where you can be a little bit alone, sometimes feel somebody looking down on you from the cliffs.
Then there were the satanic drawings on driftwood and the hateful graffiti on rocks. Police still can't rule out a connection. Residents said they had seen it there earlier.
Prominent facing the south, the direction of where the kids were laying. That it was scary.
Allen and Kutchell, who was from Ohio, were getting married in 3 weeks.
The lifestyle that he lived, he really didn't think he'd ever find a girl that would want to share that with him.
Their son was 26, lived out of his Astro van, had never made more than $3,500 in a year, worked at Christian adventure camps, and wanted someday to run his own. So he basically found the woman of his dreams. Is that what he did?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. They were working at a Christian camp in California when they decided to spend a weekend together, away. Only they knew where. Police later learned they were at the Jenner Beach on August 14, 2004, because they both wrote entries in a journal kept at the Driftwood Inn, a lean-to made of driftwood similar to this one. Allen's parents know his entry by heart. A cross-stitch copy hangs on their dining room wall.
As I stir this mac and cheese, I just spent 2 wonderful days with my fiancé.
What a wonderful life.
Can life ever be so perfect or something like that? Yeah.
Kutchell wrote about the sunset and watching it with her fiancé. Lots of visitors had signed the journal before them. 3 days after they were reported missing, police found their bodies.
Minding their own business and on a beach, you know, totally secluded. And no, I can't imagine why anybody would do anything like that.
Police say they were killed on August 15, 2004 as they slept, each in their own sleeping bag, shot at close range with a Marlin .45 caliber rifle.
Whoever did it was very evil, we know that.
They didn't rob them, didn't sexually assault them.
Which we are thankful for.
Yeah.
Sonoma County Sheriff Sergeant Dave Thompson was one of the original detectives on the case. Still keeps in touch with the families. His department won't let the case go cold, but leads keep leading nowhere.
Usually you try to look closest to the victims and see who's in that circle, and then you start moving out. And since they're not from here, it's really hard to say, you know, who the circle of suspects may be, and we have to keep everybody in mind.
Among the dozens of persons of interest they're no longer focusing on, Joseph Burgess, a religious fanatic wanted for killing a couple 30 years earlier in Canada, also as they slept in a sleeping bag. He died in 2009 in a shootout with police in New Mexico, but his DNA did not match DNA left on that Jenner Beach. While Lindsay's family plans to mark the 10th anniversary here at this beach, Jason's family says it will not make that trip. It will be the first time since the killings that the parents of Jason and Lindsay won't spend August 15th together. Instead, the Allens will spend it with family in northern Michigan. They say the killings have strengthened their faith and even led one of the detectives, now the Sonoma County Sheriff, to God.
That's what they wanted to do. That's why they were in ministry, was to bring others to Christ. And so
it's almost like they still have a ministry then.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's a moving story from Ken Colger. Hopefully they can get some
Still,
tips and
yeah.
find some leads that really end up being actual leads that can lead to something
It's still chilling
valid.
to hear those details, and so frustrating that they really are nowhere close to solving that
Know
crime.
it. Let's hope it happens.